Hi, Emma.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can I just say that I love this energy already? I love this exchange of energy. It feels really good. How's everything?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am great. Tell me all the things. What's happening with you?
Okay, so I just returned back from Fashion Month.
Mm.
So kind of recouping, getting myself back into the swing of things of, normal life and not traveling. And I also got a cat. So life is really
It's
great.
Fashion Month, not even Fashion Week. What is the difference between the two?
So Fashion Week is typically, well, in the States, we have New York Fashion Week.
Mhm.
And then Fashion Month includes like Paris and Milan Fashion Week. London is also included, but it wasn't really happening this year just because of all the events that happened prior. So it kind of shut down. But I did New York and Milan and Paris. And honestly, that took up the entire month. And it was my first time kind of doing the whole thing, the
Right.
full round. And it was just, yeah, it was really crazy. It was really fun.
So it's safe to say that London wasn't popping with fashion. Can we say that?
Not this year around. I've heard that London is really fun. Like they have a lot of young designers that put on really like intricate and like fun shows,
Right.
but it wasn't really happening this year just because, you know, things.
Was that overwhelming though? Just bouncing from place to place to place to place during for a whole entire month, going to fashion weeks and stuff?
Yeah, I think it definitely is like mentally just a little it's a little overstimulating, of course, just jumping around from place to place and consistently staying on and consistently like moving around from show to people are super like fast paced during fashion week. Like after the show is done, you can literally see people like PR reps and everyone running. Like no one's like stopping to like take a moment. Everyone is running from place to place. I was running from place to place. So it's definitely just like a like moving fast, kind of like very consistently just staying on all the time and making sure everything's going according to plan, making sure that you're getting to your next stop in the next 20 minutes, just everything. It's definitely obviously really cool. And I'm definitely like super grateful to like have to experience this just because it's one thing, just everything that I've always wanted to do, but two, it's just such an amazing job that it's worth all of that, the mental part of it. Like it's really like I'm really blessed to be able to say that I can do that. So it's cool.
It's so
I don't
funny.
really want to complain too much.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I was gonna say like it takes a special someone because the way how you're explaining it, it sounds like it's a lot of chaotic energy. So it's
There's
just
a
like
lot
a
of
lot of
chaotic.
chaos going around. But the fact that you're able to bob and weave while all of that is going on, let me tell you, it takes a special person to be involved with that.
Well, not just that. I also was very lucky to have like two of my biggest support systems with me throughout the entire time. So during Fashion Week, I had my PR reps who were staying with me that are helping me hold my clothes and helping me make sure that I'm getting on the carpet and doing every possible thing I need to do whenever I get to that event. And whenever I'm in Milan and Paris, like I had my amazing manager who is also running around with me, holding my clothes that I have to change into and making sure that I'm getting all of the photos and talking to all the people and making sure that I'm doing everything in a timely manner. So I definitely would not be able to do it by myself. And like having that help is so essential. And even just like when you have that 15 minutes in the car, being able to breathe and like have someone that can like kind of debrief with you. And I am grateful that I don't have to do any of that alone. And it helped me get through the past month like so much.
Don't you love a good debriefing?
I love it.
Like after an event, I love to get on a phone and just talk to like, the people that were around me and be like, can you believe that this happened? Can you believe that that happened? And the nerve of such and such. You know what I'm saying?
I know. I love it. It's just, it's so nice to be able to experience things with people, I guess. I love talking. I talk a lot.
Right.
And like being able to like witness the same thing as someone else and being able to go back and like kind of relive it, like unpack it, see how we both felt, like whether it's the show, maybe whether we saw someone, or maybe someone did that, or maybe someone fell, like anything, like just like being able to talk about it. It's just really nice.
It's funny because I was talking to one of my friends this weekend, and so I was experiencing it from, basically it was an event, and I was
Yeah.
experiencing it from, front of house, and he was experiencing it from back of house. And it's so funny to talk to people just to compare notes, just to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? At this point, when I'm seeing this was happening backstage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. No, I fully agree with you. It makes everything a little bit more worthwhile.
So how did all of this come together with like social media?
Okay. All right. Let me start from the beginning.
Let's
So I
backtrack.
initially, I I've always wanted to be a part of the industry. Like growing up, it's always been my goal to, you know, find my place in this crazy, chaotic industry that we are all a part of.
Mhm.
And initially, like I was like, I'm gonna go for modeling and see where that takes me. I moved out to LA back in 2020, like prime pandemic, and I was an intern for a fashion PR firm out here, and I did that for a solid 8 to 9 months. And social media started just kind of naturally happening for me. I was definitely prior. I was hanging out in the space, like behind the scenes. Like I was seeing the people a part of it. Like my best friend is Olivia Ponton, and we both like bonded over modeling prior to us moving to LA. And I met her, and then I met my boyfriend who was already a part of like the whole content creator scene in LA. And so I was able to see the behind the scenes. And obviously I never like, it wasn't my intention to get a part of like to become an influencer, but it just kind of happened on its own naturally. And then I met my manager, and then the moment I met her, I just started solely focusing on social media, and then kind of learning how to achieve the goals that I had using social media, and how to kind of expand it and like make it honestly even more fulfilling than what my original intention is, because now I'm able to, it's in a sense a way to like find giving back. Like giving back is like way more possible with having a brand, I guess you could say, or a profile. And it's honestly like I love that I can put my personality out there. Um, and it's going to be helpful with the future, especially like it's helped a lot with modeling. And I am pursuing acting now, which is a really exciting thing. And yeah, I mean, social media has definitely helped me so much, and I'm really grateful for it,
You know
for
what's
the way it all happened.
Right. Well, it's interesting that you said that you fell into it, because I'm sure a lot of people hit you up and say, "How do I get started? How do I?" It kind of just like happens. It's like capturing lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, like it just genuinely it honestly took me by surprise, because I was never expecting it. I was kind of I assumed that I would go about modeling in a traditional way, about everything in a traditional way. And then I mean, everything has changed so much in the past few years with social media marketing and influencers, and the influx of influencers that have now moved to LA, and this new way of marketing, and this confusion between like what is an A-list celebrity and what is an influencer, because now there's a mesh between both worlds now. And there's people on social media who are now becoming such talented musicians, such talented actors and actresses. And it's possible to really master one of these crafts if you're genuinely passionate about it. Like we've seen it happen before. Like one of my good friends, Nessa Barrett, has literally just launched an album, and she's dedicated so much time to becoming so passionate about her music, and she's gotten so great. And Olivia, my best friend, who has done such a wonderful job with literally becoming like a model, like a real model, has moved to New York, has been Sports Illustrated Rookie of the Year, is working with some of her dream brands that she's always wanted to work with as a model. And it's so inspiring for me to like see these people practice their craft, and now I'm able to kind of go in and figure out what and practice my own craft. So it's been really crazy.
Sidebar. I love me some Nessa Barrett. Every time she comes on here, I feel like we just sit and have a great chat
I
and
love her.
therapy session.
Yes.
So good. I love somebody who is just like in touch with like their feelings and just is super observant to everything around them. She is a great conversation, and I'm sure she's a great hang.
Oh, she definitely is. I've loved being able to get to know her over the past year. And I mean, watching her, like her release was literally the other day, and just sitting there, like being able to watch her have her album drop, and I listened to it on repeat over the past couple days. It's just been, it's so wonderful to be able to like, I don't know, like know her as a person and also like hear her music. And it's just really cool.
So you're able to do the social media thing, right? So
Mhm.
what made you, I guess, super transparent about you on social media?
So, okay. Before social media, I was doing pageants.
Mhm.
I was a little pageant girl for a second, just because it was a way for me to like learn about how I can be a part of the modeling world. It's a great gateway for people who, I'm from Louisiana, so finding a way out is sometimes a little bit more difficult. So it was a great gateway for that. And with pageantry comes having a platform, which means just having something you're passionate about that can kind of make you relatable to people. And for me, mental health has always been so important to me. And always had, I've always dealt with it. And I've had my own, a lot of experience with it. And transparency has always been very important to me. And being honest with how I feel has always been important to me, and like my own experiences and how I can relay that to other people and how other people can relate to my own experiences and make them feel less alone. And so being honest online it kind of started way back then. And it wasn't even like I had a lot of followers at the time. It was literally an account that had 9,000 followers. And I would post about how what I'm passionate about, which is mental health, and like what I was doing apart, like how I was handling that. And then it kind of just started to translate now where I am able to just be so honest about how I feel and like what I've been through. And it's a wonderful thing. I feel like I've had a lot of practice with it just because I don't know how else to be. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to say besides the truth.
That's great though. Like the fact that you are able to be 100% yourself to these people that are following you online, and you're speaking about something that's affected you and it's affecting so many people. And I still feel like that there are so many people out there that don't want to talk about it still. Like it's like
Yeah.
it's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And there's also a lot of things out there where there's like a confusion with romanticizing mental illness and like the actual struggles of real life. And that's where it comes into play with these media things. Like obviously, like when Euphoria came out, it's obviously a message about the realities of what Gen Z goes through and like what the realities of what kids are actually doing, like addiction and social life and bullying. And I mean, it's a whole spectrum of things, but they're supposed to be talking about the realities of it. And there's a side of people that are romanticizing drugs and addiction and this nightlife and sex and all of this. And then but that wasn't the real reason why the show was made. The show was made to shed light on like the realities of it and how it's brutal and harsh and it's not fun. And it's such a double-edged sword to talk about, because people are either gonna not want to talk about it and say it's taboo, suck it up, like we're not, I don't want to do this. Or there's a side of people that are gonna want to romanticize it and like stay stuck in this like endless cycle of mental torture, I guess. Like people, I don't know. It's like kind of weird. It's like it's such a hard thing to talk about. And especially when there's so many different circumstances. Like what I've gone through is similar to what someone else has gone through, but the complete opposite of what someone else has gone through. So it's like talking about it is it's kind of difficult because you want to be considerate of how everyone feels and how what everyone's gone through. So it's kind of a tricky field.
Is the goal to reach at least one person to let them know that they're not alone or what they're going through?
Yeah, I definitely feel that way, even in the sense of people that are younger than me. Like my goal has always been to reach like young adults and like even people in middle school, like elementary, middle school, because for me, prime bullying always happened in middle school, beginning of high school. Like people were
Yeah,
just so
because middle
mean.
school kids are jerks.
They're so mean for no reason. And by the time I was a senior, and obviously this is only my experience, like people kind of stopped caring by senior year. Like the people who had their cliques started to kind of open up, and I don't know what happened, but it's just it's
I
such a
think you
hard.
realize, I think you realize that we're about to really go our separate ways.
Yeah,
You
like I
should
think,
really, you know what I mean?
like I think that's why people stopped caring, and I don't know what happened, but I feel like the younger generations that are coming up, they're so malleable to like learn that mental health is okay, and it's harder to teach that to people who are so set in their ways, which happens to be the older generations who don't want to change. Like change is such a scary thing for some people, and they absolutely refuse to do it. So I feel like it's a lot easier to show that to younger crowds so they can grow up with that, instead of like growing up with this mindset and then being told, oh, you're wrong for that, you have to change, and then it's like a midlife crisis, you know.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it?
It's insane, like it definitely is. I mean,
It's the
change is,
mental torture that you were talking about.
yeah, like I mean, look, changing is such a hard thing. Like I have things I have to change. Like I talk about it with my therapist all the time. Like there's things that we got to do to make ourselves better, and it's not fun, but I know that for some people, real change is really hard for them to do, and it's such a messy thing. It's really annoying.
Let me tell you, I tell people all the time, the one thing about being an adult, the constant is change.
Yes, like you are not growing if you're not changing.
Yes. Yep.
Like no, you're not. No one's perfect, and it's okay to not be perfect. But it's you have to like be able to own up to these things and like work on it. And by working on it, you're growing. You know.
Even taking yourself out of it, the things around you
Yeah.
are changing, things at work, things like that's happening with your apartment building, things that you know what I'm saying? It's not just necessarily you, it's the constant thing that's happening in your life as an adult is change. The one
Your
thing.
environment, like everything changes all the time.
What are you working on next, Emma?
So right now, after coming back, one of my biggest things that I'm really focused on is, like I said earlier, is acting, just because it's it's a different industry, and I really want to be able to kind of like go hone in on it and master it before I don't want to just jump into like any film and be like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly how to act. And it's definitely it's a craft. Like it's people who have been a lot of people don't have their breakout films after like 10 years of being in the film industry. Like people work so hard to get to where they're at. They take it so seriously. And I would hate to come in and disrespect that in a
Right.
sense. Like I spent so much time learning about modeling, and I literally since the age of 14, I have been dedicated to like spreading myself all out of the internet and learning anything I could about models. And now I feel as though I should do the same thing for acting so I can have that same respect. Um, and then another thing that I'm trying to learn more about how I can be involved in the mental health space, whether it's not, I've been very honest about my skin over the past year. I spent acne awareness month with Bioma, talking about the importance of self-care and not even having good skin, because I feel like that's such a terrible term to have, because there's no such thing as good skin. It's so unrealistic. But just like how you feel on the inside is how you're going to feel on the outside. And like taking like that self-care is so important, whether it's like washing your face or washing your hair and then blow drying it, like wearing, like cleaning your clothes, cleaning your body, like anything that will make you feel good on the inside is going to make you feel good on the outside, like anything. So those rituals are really important. And honestly, like skincare is really important to me just because it makes me feel the best. So on the lowest of keys, I am also helping develop a skincare brand on the low. It will not be out for a while, but I am working with people who have a patent for a great tech, like what's a good word for it? some technology with, it's a really weird name, but it was used for pancreatic cancer and helping rebuild cells. So it helps a lot with rebuilding skin cells on your skin. I've used it for the past 4 months, and I deal with cystic acne. So it's been really helpful with my cystic and hormonal acne. And yeah, so I'm really excited about that. There's just a lot of things like kind of going on behind the scenes at this current moment.
You are booked and busy. Okay.
We're working on it.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was so lovely to meet you and talk to you.
Of course.